Have you ever found yourself caught in the throes of anger, making a decision that seemed right in the heat of the moment? Or perhaps in a moment of pure joy, you've made a promise that was larger than life? Well, let's dive into the story of John. John was an avid gardener. His pride and joy was a massive rose bush he'd nurtured from a tiny seedling. One sunny afternoon, his neighbor's dog, in a frenzy of play, trampled through John's beloved rose bush, leaving it in shambles. In his rage, John decided to build a high, impenetrable fence between his and his neighbor's yard. Fast forward a few months, the fence was up and John's roses were safe. But the high fence blocked the sun, leaving his garden in perpetual shade. His roses began to wilt and his garden lost its vibrancy. John's decision, made in a moment of anger, had unforeseen consequences. Now let's turn the page to Sarah. Sarah was a young entrepreneur whose startup had just received a significant investment. Overwhelmed by happiness and gratitude, she promised her team extravagant bonuses. As the months passed, Sarah realized that she had overestimated the company's capacity to pay such bonuses without jeopardizing its financial stability. Her promise, made in a moment of joy, had placed her company in a precarious position. These stories illustrate a compelling truth. Decisions made in anger and promises made in happiness can often lead to undesirable outcomes. Anger can cloud our judgment, leading us to make decisions that may seem satisfying in the moment but can have long-term negative effects. Similarly, happiness can make us overly optimistic, causing us to make promises that we may not be able to fulfill. The key to avoiding these pitfalls is to practice emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence involves recognizing our emotions, understanding what they're telling us, and realizing how our emotions affect people around us. It also involves our perception of others. When we understand how they feel, this allows us to manage relationships more effectively. In essence, never make a decision when you're angry, and never make a promise when you're happy. Take a step back, breathe, and think. Emotions are transient, but the consequences of our actions can last a lifetime. Remember John and Sarah. Their stories serve as reminders of the potential consequences of acting on heightened emotions. So the next time you're about to make a decision in anger or make a promise in happiness, pause. Let your emotions settle, and then proceed with clarity and thoughtfulness. In conclusion, decisions made in anger and promises made in happiness often lead to regret. Instead, strive to make decisions and promises based on rational thought, free from the influence of extreme emotions. By doing so, you'll likely find that your decisions are more sound, your promises more realistic, and your relationships more harmonious.